You're watching Pyro Media Network.
I could be running or I'm chasing you, but I won't. Cause I got better things to do. Rather spend my precious time chasing somebody who loves me too. If I got $1 for every time you slam the door, I would be the richest girl alive, life. If you hadn't run away every time I asked you stay, you would sleep right next to me tonight. And you didn't know me, all you wanted was a game to play. And you couldn't handle that I had no ways. I found your magic and your side chicks, I'm a winner, babe. And you didn't win this, it's a part of the game. In the beginning I just didn't know that you're an enemy I held too close. Now I
Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
Hey, happy Friday, Junior, for all of those who celebrate. My name is Dr. Nicole D. Vick of Nicole D. Vick Live. I'm so happy to have you here. Child, it's been a crazy week, last couple days. I don't know. It's been some shenanigans going on, and they just keep shenaniganing again and again. I'm like, what? And it's so crazy because every time, and this is me in my head, every time I'm like, okay, this is probably the lowest we finna get. It just somehow just goes a little bit lower and we just keep going. Woo, yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to go into detail. Y'all been watching the news like I have. I've been on the social medias. I've been on all the things. I've been seeing what's happening. And I'm like, is this really happening? I feel like, is this what my ancestors was feeling like when they was living their lives back in the day? Like, is this really happening? And it was like really happening. When is the camera, what is that show called? Oh, I can't think of the show when it was like they would trick you or, it was like this whole thing and they'd be like, aha, surprise. Like one of them kind of shows, like when is the camera going to come out? Like, we just playing. I don't think it's coming, y'all. I think this is for real. But I feel like, and after I say this, I'm going to let it go. I feel like we will be fine. Yes, punked. Thank you. Oh, I feel like we will be fine. We will continue to push through because that's what our ancestors have always done. And we will continue to do, right? I think that's the interesting thing about this now, living through it. It's kind of like, meanwhile, we boots on the ground. We doing other things because like we already knew what was going to happen. We were trying to tell the rest of y'all. Y'all wasn't listening. Now everybody's like, oh, and we're like, hello. This is what. Okay, so let's go ahead. I want to get into the whole purpose of me being here tonight. I met this fabulous woman. I think it was through Dr. Turner from Doc Chat. I hope I'm not messing up his name, child. But he has a fabulous group of doctoral folks, PhDs, EDDs, all of us, and we get together. And he was doing this doctathon, and we were on. And I met this fabulous woman, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we got to have a conversation." Oh my goodness! So let me say who she is, and then we're gonna bring her on. We just got to jump into this because this is crazy. So the bio is what was like. Hold on, let me read you her bio, y'all. Dr. V. Boykin, stripper, felon, and doctor, refuses to be silenced. With 4 degrees earned in her 40s, come through. Hey, she boldly confronts the challenges of women in the workplace, sharing the unvarnished truths of her life. Dr. V is an established keynote speaker and leader in organizational leadership and equity space. Her research is focused on creating equitable support for marginalized communities in the workplace and within the home. Honest and transparent, Dr. V ruthlessly shares her transformative journey through her first book, Fix Your Face and Watch Your Tone. Women know what's needed. And in her second book, Unapologetically Disruptive, Hard Lessons, Simple Truths. Dr. V continues to advocate for equitable personal and professional experiences using her voice to challenge societal norms and foster understanding among individuals from all walks of life. Listen, y'all know how I talk about organizational leadership. I talk about Black women at work, specifically in my field of work, which is the public health institution, the public health industry. So I'm like, oh, we on the same page. And so this is going to be a really, really good conversation. I'm really excited. We just going to go ahead and bring her on because we got to talk. So come on, Dr. Boykin, let's go. Now, come on now.
Is it 2 Black women doctors? There's less than 4% of us. We've got to be like representing at least 0.5% right here, right?
In the same space at the same time. I'm like, this is amazing. And actually aligned on the same page about organizational leadership, workplace, workforce development, Black women at work. Like, I think these are things I talk about a lot. So to see that you've literally written books about this concept, I'm excited. So okay, first of all, back up. This first line of this bio, you got to explain yourself. Stripper, felon, author, and doctor. We got to talk about that. And before you do, what I want to say is, I often say that we have a secret sauce. We're smart, right? We go to school, we get the degree, yes. But that lived experience is also like that seasoning that goes in that sauce that gives us that extra leverage. So yes, come on, explain that first line of that bio, please.
Yeah, I mean, it just was my life experience. You know, not all of us made the best decisions. We typically make the best decisions we can in the moment that it is with the information that we have. I didn't make great decisions. And I will tell everyone now, never, ever, ever accept a rubber stamp for expense reports. End of discussion. And always make your manager clarify verbally and in writing what you're supposed to do. Now, that doesn't absolve me of my wrongdoing, because when I found out what was going on, I didn't say, oh, let me report it. I said, let me get in on it. But the truth of the matter is, you know, I was a stripper, and I was a sober stripper. I didn't have to be drunk to do it. And I am a felon and remain a felon. And it's been 20 years and there's still jobs I can't get. And there's still places that won't rent me an apartment. There's still states I cannot ever vote in. Hello, home state of Virginia. What's up with that? Well, I know what's up with that, but shame on you, because I don't know anyone. I actually, in the whole time I was incarcerated, and I met a lot of people that have committed a lot of crimes, but none of them had a sentence of not being able to vote anymore. None of them had a sentence of being disenfranchised for life. None of them had a sentence that said you are no longer an American. So that's a whole nother thing. But what I learned is that the most important thing you can do is see the humanity in someone else.
Yes. I feel like you have said something in this first few seconds that is so profound about seeing the humanity in people. And I think it sounds like your lived experience in being able to talk to people and throughout those different periods of your life has given you that leverage and that understanding of people's humanity. Would you say that that was part of the reason why you got into the field that you got into and why you wrote this book?
Yes. I mean, I got tired of getting in trouble with not enough information to get me out of trouble in the workplace. You know, I got tired of keeping secrets. I got tired of hoping no one Googled my name. I got tired of being associated with statistics that weren't good for my people, that were Black community. So what is it that I can do to even up this scale before I check out? And I'll probably never think it's even, but I figured 4 degrees would get it done. I figured calling me doctor instead of, felon would be a start. I was hopeful for this president, because if you elect a president that is a felon, my goodness, surely I'll be able to get a job at a gas station. But it didn't turn out quite the way I hoped. And we always hope. I may not vote the way I hope, but I always hope, because I have hope for America. But it is crazy that we can have a felon and someone that's been convicted of sexual assault in the White House and yet have limited rights for the rest of us. We know it doesn't trickle down.
Right. It doesn't trickle down. And if you're not the right color or the right background, it will never
the right
happen.
Size.
Come on.
Or the right size, or the right presentation, or the right standard of pretty, or colonial enough, or quiet enough, or meek enough, or mild enough, or agreeable enough, or any of those things enough. And when you wrap it in a package that may come with 4C hair, it won't matter how light your skin is, because once they finally realize you're in the room, you're going to get treated exactly the same.
Absolutely. And I think one of the most unfortunate things for us, and I know you've probably heard this too, we are seen as overachievers because we've had to be overachievers. We've had to push and get the degrees because we know that's the leverage. But at the end of the day, it honestly almost means absolutely nothing. And that's, I think, the hard part for us. It's like, wait a minute, y'all said you need the degree, so we went and got the degree. Y'all said we need the experience, we went and got the experience. We straightened our hair.
Sure did.
And it didn't do the thing that it was supposed to do. And we're seeing that with the 300,000 Black women that have no job.
Full stop. While white men made gains. So white men still are getting hired at a higher rate. That's the part they stop at the 300,000, but white men increase jobs. And if we are the most educated sector, the most educated demographic, obviously we don't have an issue with brain processing ability, but more than that, we have overeducated ourselves just to achieve parity, just to achieve equal. Right. And, I was talking to someone the other day and they said to me, I was part of this interview process, and they were a younger white female. And they said, I was a part of this interview process, and the person that is a supervisor in the room, this Black woman was clearly qualified, but the supervisor kept saying, I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's just something that's not the right fit. And when white allies ask me, should I give up this management job for a Black person? Should I give up my job for a person of color? I say no, absolutely not, because that younger white woman was in the room and able to say, no, there's nothing missing. And no, the undereducated white male who's 20 and this is the first, no, they shouldn't get the job. But what had happened if that white woman wasn't in the room to support the only other Black woman in the room? We lose every time. We lose every time. So we need our allies. And we also need jobs and to be compensated fairly and to have other Black women surround us, because we know that that is the one thing statistically, Harvard did a study, that allows us to excel in the workplace. More of us around us.
Absolutely. 100%. I'm going to give you one question and then we got to go to break. We didn't. This has been going so well. I'm like, wait, oh, shoot. Was there a particular moment or experience that made you realize this book needed to be written now?
Yes. You said one question. Yes, The fact that
what
the
was
noise,
it?
yeah, the noise in my head, that's why I write. The noise in my head, the screaming of the injustices, the times I didn't say the things I overlooked, the things I let other people go through without saying anything. When that gets so loud, I tell the truth, and it happens to be on paper.
Yeah. And I think I will say this, and then we'll go to commercial. I think that is our most powerful tool, because let me tell you, something happened to me at work that was just so egregious. And I was like, this is insane. And I was like, you know what? That's all right. Let me switch my dissertation problem of practice. I'm going to switch it all the way around, and I'm going to study this thing. And now I'm going to get this research done. And so it can validate what I'm experiencing. Because I was like, I know I'm not the only one. And I wasn't.
That's
and
right.
so it's like, that's fine. Y'all going to do me like this, but I'm going to use it. I'm going to channel it for something else. And I think that is our most powerful tool, to have those opportunities to publish, to share, to write, to talk, to speak, and to put it out into the universe. So we're going to go to break, and then we're going to come right on back.
Hey, it's Pastor Kim from It's Just Kim Live Show, and you're watching Pyro Media Network. And we are back. I'll be back here dancing to the music in the background. We are back with Dr. Boykin, author of, wait a minute, I done scrolled away, Unapologetically Disruptive. Okay, your book touches on challenging systems of power. And once you understand how this nation is built and structured, you can't unsee it. And so what do you hope readers gain from that message about challenging systems of power?
Number one, if you're early in your career, don't do it. The aunties got you. We need you to get to a place where you can financially be secure enough to challenge. So that's number one. And bring some people with you. I want people to know that you will hear a lot in your career that they want disruptors, and disruptors are the leaders, especially in the tech space. And they always talk about disrupt and say it. Disrupting makes you unpopular, and you need to be prepared for that. Number two, you may never be enough for someone. So you might as well be enough for yourself. You are responsible, not just for your intent, but your impact. That one was hard. And I think the final lesson is that your detractors are going to be louder than your supporters, and you need to be prepared for that. And if it takes you 10, 20, 30, 40 years to be unapologetically disruptive, that's okay. Your turn is coming too. So until then, it's like training, right? It's like training.
I would 100% agree, because I feel like, to your point, if you are new, you just getting into the work world, just hold on, right? Pay attention, though. I will say, keep your eyes open. Pay attention to what's happening, but don't be that one walking in trying to flip tables and doing all that. No. Get in. And I tell people this too, even the folks that I talk to, the young folks that are coming out of grad school and they want to work in public health and they want to change the world. Listen, find the aunties. And I'm glad you said it that way, because a lot of us are the aunties now. I'm like, wait, am I an auntie? Yes. Like, dang, I'm an auntie. I thought I was young, but I'm an auntie. But that's okay, because like you said, we can give you that viewpoint, that sort of big picture, like, hold on,
And I'll give you an example, because I have aunties too. Even though I am now an auntie, I have aunties in the workspace myself that I've been so blessed with, all Black women. And I'm like, hey, I'm seeing A, B, and C. Am I tripping? And she'll say, no, you are not tripping. And this is what I got. This is the advice I got. Be quiet. Mind your business. Drink your water. Do your work. How many years you got to retirement? Good. Just sit tight.
Because look, Jesus flipped tables. You saw that, how it ended up for him. Now, I'm willing, and I have a wonderful family support. In my current marriage, I have that support where I can say it, and I have that support. But there were many years I didn't. In fact, my first book, the reason I wrote that book is I came across a statistic, and it said 80% of women said it was their spouse or spousal equivalent that allowed them to excel in the workplace. And I'm like, okay, I've had a couple spouses now. This last one before my current marriage was like, I didn't want anyone this Black and this liberal. And I'm like, you picked me though. And I was like, that's just not been my experience. I haven't, prior to this marriage, been in a relationship where I was better. I mean, I made it better for other people. We know men that marry women live longer. Women don't. We know men that marry women get raises and career progression, but women don't. It's the inverse for us. But I wanted to figure out what that was about and what experience they were having that I hadn't quite captured yet.
Wow. And I think that layer is interesting too. I remember being in school and we were learning about, I don't know if it's called the second shift or the third shift, right? For women, like you work, but then you got to come home and work again, some more. You got to take care of the house. You got to take care of the kids, and that expectation on you to take care of everything. There's so many things going through my head. So, okay, boom. And then I'm also on YouTube. I'm watching this guy. He's a finance guru. His name is Ramit. I can't remember his last name, but he has couples on and helps them through their finances. And I see it even there, because it's either wife has absolutely no idea what's going on in the household with money and is frustrated, or wife is the one that's taking care of the entire house. Like, I write all the checks, I write all the bills, and husband is over there doing all the crazy stuff. So it's really crazy, this expectation for women to sort of own everything, almost like they got to go to work all day. They got to take care of the kids. The dad don't even know the kid's doctor. They don't know the kid's school. They don't know nothing. And then they still got to take, mom is still cooking and do it. So to your point, there's this expectation of like everything we have to hold, and where do we lay that down? And so I think even this question I asked about challenging systems of power, I was talking about work, but I mean, what about home? And I think we, kind of touched on the important part of that too, like that patriarchy, right? Like, wait, how do you lay that down? And that as well. So, wow, because I hadn't thought of it that way.
I think what my research led me to, and yes, it's a personal balancing act and boundary setting and all that, but we shouldn't let corporations off the hook, because they have been buying gym memberships and dinners at strip club since I was in the strip club, right? When the corporate cards came out. And one of the benefits that they could actually provide that would, number one, increase productivity, number two, decrease their attrition costs, number three, increase the amount of focus that their employees had. And now this is science. I got it published. They should be providing house cleaning stipends, grocery delivery service stipends, meal kit delivery stipends. Because if you want me in my home as I work remotely, really doing work and not flipping laundry or washing dishes or unloading the dishwasher or folding, whatever it is, provide those services, because you never asked me to go to work and pull out a vacuum in the middle of the workday. I'm working in my home, I'm pulling out a vacuum. That's not where you want my mindset. That's not where you want my headspace. And so that can be the bridge. And, I'll whisper, it will disproportionately impact Black women because we do more, but I will scream, it will decrease your attrition, increase belonging, which increases profitability and productivity. And when you put women in the C-suite, we increase profits by 21%. And when you have diverse teams, you close that profit gap 15 to 35%. And you cannot sell a pink razor without a woman in the room to tell you how to sell it.
Boom. So much knowledge, so many gems you're dropping that, again, I think inherently I know, but hadn't really talked it out or talked it through. So I'm really grateful for you being here, raising up these points. It's not even just about the workplace, but how we can make things easier for folks at home and how your employer can make those things easier for you. And I agree. I mean, I know for me, like, for example, my health insurance, it has some sort of gym discount, and I was able to take advantage of that. But other things that you talked about, grocery delivery that I already use based on, for me, my injury, I broke my ankle. I was like, well, baby, I can't drive. I can't do nothing. But just think how great that would be if your workplace was thinking of you in that way. I also will say, related to my injury, sometimes some of the stuff that your work is supposed to do for you, they make it so hard. That's okay. Like,
you're talking to someone that was recently terminated while on FMLA leave. I woke up from my back surgery with no job and a walker on June 2nd. So there's a lot of things that workplaces can do. And that $100 Instacart subscription, they could cover that. And please don't give me a gym membership. The last thing I need is more work to do. Please. And the least interesting thing about me is this physical shell that I came in. So don't invest in that anymore. I don't need your gym membership. I don't want it. But I would love for you to give me $100 a month to have someone come in and clean my home.
I
would never leave that job. I would never leave that job.
Right. Like, you want me to come in at what time and say how long? Okay, got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my groceries are at the front door? Yeah, I'm not leaving.
Or like you said, childcare.
Yes.
Side note, is it New Mexico that's making the state of New Mexico making childcare free? Like, stuff like that is what makes communities healthier. So, again, I have that public health. That's a public health thing. That would be, that's amazing. Universal basic income, stuff like food delivery. Those kinds of things are the things that make communities healthier. And folks feel less stressed. They can contribute more. They're innovative. They're open-minded. They can do the work. So I agree with you on that. Let's see.
Because this is your area of expertise. I know we're supposed to talk book and stuff like that, but when I was on food stamps and Vick and broke and poor, if you would have told me I could have had food stamps for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 1 year, no matter where I worked, and I could actually get ahead, I would have actually gotten ahead. And then I wouldn't have had so many marriages because I wouldn't have had to settle and I wouldn't have had to hide behind the patriarchy. So please tell me why we have people making legislation about food stamps or student loans or Vick or anything else that they've never had to use. Make that make sense. I'll wait.
You know what? I can't make that make sense because it doesn't make sense, right? I mean, food and being able to have access to food is probably one of the most basic health needs or human needs that everybody should have access to. I actually kind of agree with you. Like, can we all get a basic level of food stamps? I think would be amazing, because being able to have access to food is, like, again, a universal need. So why are we legislating what people eat or don't eat? I've heard people say, well, if you're on food stamps, you should be able to eat a steak. Man, if you don't let that person go in that store and get that steak and enjoy that food, how you going to deny somebody food or police what someone eats? I was watching, because I watch a lot of social media, my bad, but I was watching this scenario where this one lady was homeless and she had 2 children, and this guy was helping her and he bought the kids pizza and soda. I'm not going to sit there and say, why are you buying him pizza and soda? That child hasn't eaten. Pizza and soda is fine because he hasn't eaten. So why do we police food in the way that we do and make these decisions? So to really answer your question, we tend to like to tell poor people what to do. That's really what it is.
As if
no, can't eat that.
As if, do you know how hard it is for me, who is well compensated and in a job I enjoy, to think about cooking a meal after my workday? I'm exhausted and I have everything at my fingertips, including a supportive spouse. So when I was poor, the last thing I had energy for was to peel a carrot so that I could dice it, so that I could cook some rice, so that I could put it in stir fry, so I could make this wholesome meal that you want me to make. What I really needed was McDonald's and a nap.
Yep.
That's what I really needed.
And that's fine. See, and I'm a different kind of public health person. That's fine. Enjoy your burger. right? Because it's food. And how can food be bad or wrong? It's food. Enjoy it. It's easy. And I follow a nutritionist. I can't think of her name right now. She's really good on that too. She's like, packaged food is not the devil. Accessible food is fine. Eat what you want to eat. Enjoy, you know, have a variety of foods, but like, let's stop bad food, good food, right? So it's food.
Yeah, especially with the amount of stress that people are under right now. I mean, if I'm worried that I'm going to lose my job, if I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to say the word Black, if I'm worried that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is going to be repealed or is thought of as stupid, if I'm worried that somebody is actively purporting that I don't have the same education or the ability to be educated, the last thing I am thinking about is how long I would like to bake the chicken to have a nice crispy brown crust. You know, that's just not realistic in these days and times. So beyond empathy, it's just realism. It's just realism. I don't have time to play bad wife games. I don't have time. Not only that, I don't want to make time.
Right. Other things to do. And so unfortunately, though, we will start to see is more and more legislation that will do that kind of thing. Take food stamps away, reduce the food stamps, you know, decide where you can't have this or have that. You know, it's going to happen. So just keep your eyes open, you guys. When it's time to vote for these things, you need to be paying attention, because you might think, to your point, oh, I can afford my food. I shop at Erewhon or Whole Foods. I don't need to worry about that. It doesn't matter. You need to be thinking about folks that have less than you that would need something like this. And you also need to remind yourself that anything can happen to you where your situation could change, and it could change like that. I broke my ankle and was off my feet I'm still technically not 100% now, a whole year and a half later. So think about those things. Please, people, stop thinking just about you, think beyond you. All right. Disruption. Because I mean, even the food conversation is about disruption. Yeah. How do we change, right? How do you see disruption as an act of love, courage, or even healing? Because it can be scary to be disruptive, but is there a space where disruption is love, courage, or healing?
It's a great question. You know, I'm not motivated by dreams. I'm motivated by nightmares. And there is nothing scarier than swallowing your truth. When I first saw the Joy Luck Club, this is an old movie, but this woman said, I will not eat peanut butter pie. I'm not making it. I'm not eating it. I'm done with it. And if you haven't seen the movie, go back and watch it. If nothing else, just for that scene, but it's a beautiful movie. And the horror in my life is when I didn't tell the truth. And the truth is always disruptive. It always is, because it's raw and it's cutting and it is unavoidable, right? And so for me, truth is healing. You know, now I don't know how it hits for my husband. I don't know how it hits for my kids when I'm like, yep, by the way, did you know your mom was a stripper? But probably not. You were quite young. It also was a job where you could make your own hours, set your own fees, and take off when your child was sick without any consequences. That being said, you know, disruption is the way that society moves forward. And not everybody wants to move forward. Some people like it just how it is. And by the way, if I ever got to be in the majority Caucasian standard, I probably wouldn't want it to move either. Nonetheless, when the tide rises, everything lifts. It shouldn't be so scary. But you're talking about somebody that has a high tolerance for risk. You're talking about somebody that has a low tolerance for lies and thrives in transparency. And I learned very young that like change is the standard, not stagnation. So I think that it's healing to tell your truth. I think it's healing to tell the truth, not just your truth. And I think that there's no nightmare greater than keeping silent.
Absolutely. Now, we kind of touched on this, and this is kind of close to our last question of the evening. We talked about this a little bit earlier when we were talking about, if you're new, you know, don't come in there swinging and flipping stuff. But the reality is, even if you're, you know, seasoned, being disruptive can be scary.
Yes.
Because, you know, and you're in the research. I dug into research even in my dissertation and my studies. There are very real consequences, specifically for Black people, Black women too, very specifically in speaking our truth at work specifically, right? When it comes to something at work and we say something, there are very real consequences to that. So what advice do you give to someone maybe who is new to the workspace, or maybe, you know, moving, you know, along in their work career? How do you help them, or what would you tell them to help them not be so afraid of being disruptive? Because maybe it's a matter of your disruptive at this stage is different than like we're talking about now. Hey, I'm 3 years away from retirement, so I'm gonna say I can say certain things. So maybe it's that. But what would you tell someone who's like, ooh, what would you tell?
I mean, I'm 51 and I, you know, can definitely recall situations where I know of people that have reported that they perhaps didn't see brown and black people getting promoted in the same way as their white counterparts, and might have dared to write that down in very short succession after found themselves without a job. And this would be somebody highly educated, highly qualified, and highly experienced. All of a sudden, they're out of favor. So there's definitely a reason for fear. That being said, I tell the truth. I step into the spaces. I launch those battles, whether they're with words or with legal systems or with thought leadership, so that other people don't have to. And what I would say is, don't write checks you're behind can't cash. That you will experience wrong. You will experience prejudice, bias, probably racism, overt and covert. You will think that you are going crazy. You will think that maybe you didn't see what you just saw. You need to talk to your family and you need to talk to your bank account, because if you can't afford, you don't do it. And it's just that simple. And be careful with that anonymous. If it's an anonymous survey, anonymous reporting, there is something going on in the culture that means that they had to create this pipeline of anonymous reporting. So anonymous is never anonymous. If you are going to report something anonymously in writing, run it through ChatGPT and say, make this not my writing style, so they can't connect you. But do only that which you can afford. You are not required to fix all the wrongs of this world. Neither are you free to abandon that work. So it is a fine line. There is no cookie cutter answer. But if you have a specific instance, I'm on LinkedIn. I answer my LinkedIn messages and we can talk it through. But what I would tell someone young in their career is watch how the aunties navigate and decide if taking that stand is worth your job, not in principle, but in practice.
Yeah. And I think that's very real. And again, I think there's other ways to do things to be disruptive. Hey, start a blog, write about it. You can, you know,
anonymous blog.
Maybe get your maybe there's other colleagues in your workspace that are going through the same thing. Y'all get together and y'all talk through it, process it, get some, you know, figure it out. You know, so I think you're right. There's ways that you can do things that are, you know, short of, you know, standing up and be like, hey, you know, you don't have to always do that.
Oh, normal, right?
Blind. You're right.
The app Blind. You might find community on the app Blind where people go and talk about what really is going on in a company. You might want to check that out before you are like hired at a company, you know. But when you need a job, just get the job. It doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be paying.
100%. All right. Where can people find your book? How can they get in touch with you?
Yeah.
Let us know.
It's very simple. It's Dr. V. Boykin everywhere. drvboykin.com. It's Dr. V. Boykin on Amazon. It's Dr. V. Boykin on YouTube. It's Dr. V. Boykin on LinkedIn. I do answer LinkedIn messages. I do genuinely care. It's not just lip service. I've probably been through it or want to support you going through it. So please check it out and reach out. And if you read the book, I really want to know what you think, because everything in it is true, unfortunately. And I want to know how you feel it. I want to know how it hits for you.
Yeah. I so appreciate you coming on tonight. And again, I think we talked about it. We're the aunties now. We have enough experience and have been through some things. Y'all, if you are new in your career, pick up the book, read it. It's going to be some gems in there for you to better help you navigate the workspace. If you have questions, she just said her LinkedIn DMs are open. Have a conversation. Get somebody, talk to somebody. Don't just be going up in here doing, we're trying to help you, because we know it's about to be a really rough time in this economy right now. Keep your job, okay? Because you're going to need it to buy your groceries and your rent. And we ain't got time for no shenanigans. So take care of yourselves in the workspace. It can be really rough for us. But keep your eyes open, keep your head on a swivel, as they say in the hood.
True story. True story. And look, your principals don't pay for those packages. So keep your job, for real, what she said.
Absolutely. And I mean, if you feel like you need to leave, make your plan to leave, right? But don't just be willy-nilly, I would say, for sure. I thank you so much for coming and joining me. I'm gonna have to have you back. We got to talk some more because, again, I think we have so much in common as far as the work and the commitment to our fellow colleagues in the workspace and helping them live better lives as they navigate work. I think we need to have you back. So whenever you want to come on back through, let's do it. For sure.
It's been
all right, y'all. Thank you so much. All right, y'all, you know where to find me on my website, www.nicoledvick.com. All the things are there. My podcast episodes that I've been a guest on are there. My books are all up in there. Sometimes I put my nail designs. You see my little fingernails because I be real cute with the nails. But those are my books. My first one, Pushing Through, Finding the Light in Every Lesson. Second one, Push Through 52 Weeks of Light and Tough Times. And the latest one is an anthology called Triumph in the Trenches. And it's a guide. It's like the Green Book, but for Black working people. 22 authors have all contributed their lived experience to help you figure out how to navigate the workspace. So as you can see, we really are concerned about Black people at work because you see what happened, 300,000 Black folk out of the workforce. We need to figure out how to survive. All right. Follow me on social media. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram, kind of, and I'm on TikTok, kind of, but mostly on LinkedIn. Next week is my birthday, so I'm going to take a little break and play a little rerun for y'all, but we'll be back. Ooh, October is going to be something. It's going to be, we got some new stuff coming. I'm so excited. It's going to be amazing. So, again, thank you, Dr. Boykin, for being here, and we're going to say bye-bye. See you next week.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.